Hello my fellow creators and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am doing a real quick project share. I decided it was about time that I finished up this paper pad. I've had this Sugar Plums paper pad by Recollections in my stash for a couple of years now, and I wanted to finish it up. Now I had 28 sheets of paper left in the paper pad. 7 of those were those full page images that you kind of wonder what to do with. I had 2 sheets of the 6x6 cut aparts, and then 1 sheet of the strips, and then the rest were the different designs in the paper pad. So what I decided to do with the full-size sheets that we never know what to do with is I cut them down and made some envelopes to go with my cards. So let me share those real quickly. And some of them I left the pattern on the outside because it was really a pretty color. Here's the back with all the design that was the border. And then some I left the white on the outside because the pattern didn't really allow for addressing the envelope as easily. So I did a few of the white ones. And then I did another one of these. So out of those 7 sheets of the full-size pattern, I made 7 A2 size envelopes. And then out of those 6x6 papers, I made some envelopes for 3x3 cards. You can see some, again, I left the pattern on the outside because it lent itself to a really pretty envelope. On the outside. So there's some 3x3 envelopes. And given that I made 3x3 envelopes, I did have a sheet with cut aparts in it as well. So I made some 3x3 cards using those cut aparts. And then for the sentiments, I had some pre-printed sentiments that I had bought at Simon Says Stamp, and I just cut those into little strips and then added those to my cards. Now obviously some of the cut aparts already had a sentiment, or actually were a sentiment, and so those I left as is. And here are my 3x3 cards. So I made 20 of the 3x3 cards. So for some of my cards, I used the July sheet load sketch, which are these. And I think they came out just beautifully. And then I used different stamp sets that I had in my stash. I'll list the different stamp sets I used in the description box below. So here are these, and I did some at portrait as is called for in the sketch, and I did a few in landscape. And I did also use the extra strips of cardstock that I had for the insides of my cards so that nothing went to waste. And you can see I used several different pattern papers. And then what I did do, because this is such a pastel color palette for these pattern papers, I did use some pale blues and pinks to matte the different layers. And I think those are just beautiful. And I also used a pastel pink and blue for the sentiments. And those are using my Gina K inks. I did make a total of 24 using the July 2023 sheet load of cards sketch. And then for my next batch of cards, I did use the May 2023 sheet load sketch. And for these, I did add a little Love from Lizzie peel off sticker from there, just to add a little bit of separation between the pattern paper and the stamped sentiment. And again, I used a pastel ink for my sentiment and then a nice lavender for the background. And I made a total of 24 cards using the May 2023 sheet load of card sketch. For my next batch of cards, I did use the March 2020 sheet load of card sketch, and I did change it up a bit. Let me show you the sketch real quickly. So as you can see on the sketch, this strip is cut diagonal, it's placed diagonally, and this is a little bit larger of paper for the sentiment. But I wanted to make the strips of pattern paper work for me and stretch them to use on as many cards as possible. So I cut these shorter, and because I did those to match the same width of the other pieces of pattern paper, I did have to put them straight across because they wouldn't have stretched diagonally. But I think even with that change, the cards turned out beautifully. And then some I matted in silver, and some I matted in this shimmery gold cardstock. And these are all cardstocks I had in my stash from Michael's, and I made a total of 22 using this sheet load. I didn't use a sketch for these. What I decided to do was just kind of go with my own gut and make cards. So I just cut my pattern papers at 4 by 5 1/4, and then this is the little strip that was left over, and I used that on some of the cards as well. Now I did do some heat embossing for this sentiment because I wanted to bring out a little bit of shimmer on this card, and I did use pastel colors as well. Oh, that one has that strip. So you'll see I was able to make 6 with that additional strip of paper and then 6 without. And for the scallop circle, I cut it out of the matte layer, so I really didn't waste any of my paper. I made 12 using this lovely lavender and then the gold heat embossing for the sentiment. And then I kind of reversed it here, and I used the shimmery gold matte layer and then stamped the sentiment in a lavender color. Again, one of my Gina K Designs inks. And I'll list the colors I used in the description box below as well. So out of these, I made 24 cards. So as you can see, using the 28 sheets of paper left from that paper pad, I was able to make a total of 114 cards. So that's 94 of the A2 size cards and 20 of the 3x3 size cards. I also made 8 of the 3x3 envelopes and 7 of the A2 envelopes. I think I did pretty well. Now, this did take me a couple of days to do between having had surgery on my hand 2 weeks ago and trying to recover. I was a little bit slow at cutting and assembling. But I had to get back in my craft room. This is my therapy and my relaxation. Thanks for sticking around to the end. I'd be thrilled if you subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on any of my other social media platforms. As always, have a beautiful, safe, and creative day. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Yes, every time the snow is falling down and it is cold outside, we gather around the fireplace and no one cares about yesterday.